Welcome to my Platinum playthrough of Ghost of Yotei. In this video, I'll be going over the main story, including all the main objectives, as well as showing all the trophies required to achieve the Platinum. In this Platinum, it took me around 50 hours to complete, with 54 trophies including the Platinum, with 0 missable trophies, which is always a good thing. There are a few story-related trophies, as well as a lot of main side missions and miscellaneous trophies, as well as combat and other things. The game starts us off in a cutscene where our main protagonist Atsu is shown as a little girl and is face to face with our main villain of the game, Lord Saito, who basically murders our whole family. Our main objective in the game is to hunt down and kill the Yotei 6 who are responsible for our family's death. Our first encounter in the game is one of the Yotei 6, the Snake. He is our first of many duels throughout the game, including bounties and other things. He is incredibly drunk, and at the end of the fight, it seems like he actually kills us, but somehow we survive. Going through the little bit of a cutscene, and we get our first trophy, the Snake. Venturing on into the mainland where we'll be exploring throughout the game, Ezo, we come across a very cinematic scene. We then return home where we meet our twin brother Jubei and both our mother, who teaches us how to play, and our father, who actually helps us do some blacksmithing. Moving on to our first town for the game, we find our first bounty board, which we'll have to complete 31 of these to acquire a trophy, which is considered one of the more time-consuming and difficult trophies to collect.
I'll take him.
A fine choice.
Next, we complete our first side mission where we get to pick our new horse and get to name it, which gives us a trophy naming a friend.
And I'll do the same for your old horse.
We continue on by climbing up a section of Mount Yotei to meet this character, who's a friend of our father's. Completing his little side quest rewards us with a new melee weapon, the dual katana. There are 5 different melee weapons that we have to collect throughout the game, and doing so will give us a trophy once we collect our 5th one. While exploring, we discover the camping mechanic, which allows us to heal and restore our spirit. And we also get a trophy here for playing our Shimi-san for the first time at a campsite, fireside performance. While in the area of Mount Yotei, we climb up a very long trail where we find one of many shrines that we have to find throughout the game and get the trophy for collecting both our mother and father's charms. We then find our first wolf den, which while completing this, we get a trophy for completing a standoff with a companion, 2 as 1. And a trophy for acquiring a charm by winning at a gambling den. Moving on with the story, the character you see on the screen is Lord Kitamore. He is the leader of the Matsume, who are the samurai group in this game, and they actually play a really big part in the storyline.
Without it, I would have to arrest you. Where did you get that sword?
Off a dead man.
Turns out Lord Kitamore is actually our twin brother Jubei, who we saw at the start of the game, and somehow actually survived the attack from Lord Saito and the Yotei 6. He is alive and clearly doing very well for himself. After a long reunion and a few cutscenes, we get the trophy Twin Wolves. Shortly after, we meet a girl named Ina who gives us the Scorch Bomb throwable, where we get a combat trophy for defeating an enemy by lighting the grass on fire called Bushfire, and for completing her side quest, it gives us the trophy Gift of Destruction. One of the very early side missions you're able to complete is for this guy, the Undying Samurai, who, in my opinion, gives one of the best armors in the game. I actually used this my entire playthrough. The fight was fairly difficult as being early stages of the game and not being very good at the combat yet. This took me a fair few tries, but definitely worth the effort, and of course he is needed to be defeated for the trophy for collecting all the armor. After we defeat him, we go on a bit of a shopping spree and get the trophy purely decorative for acquiring 30 pieces of vanity gear, which are actually just purely cosmetic.
One of his own raiders who stole some prized musket. They call him Mad Goro.
Continuing on with the main story, we hear of an escaped prisoner of the Oni who has stolen his rifle. Myself and Jubei track him down with the intention of using and returning the rifle to get into the Oni's fortress to get close to him. Once we complete this fight, we get a trophy for interrogating 10 enemies, which is a mechanic in the game that can sometimes happen to help you with info or clues into where to go next in our adventure.
And our other prize, the Oni's musket. A dog again.
Once we acquire the rifle off Mad Goro, our plan is to use Jubei as our prisoner to gain access to the Oni's fortress while holding the rifle and giving it back to him for sort of a bribe to get in. Once inside the castle, Atsu comes across something that she recognises that her father made and gives us a little bit of a cutscene to show us exactly how her father dies. After the cutscene, we end up in the courtyard where picking up our 10th bottle of full sake gives us the trophy Sake Flight. After helping Jubei escape the holding cell he was being kept in, we sneak into the Oni's quarters and obviously get caught by him. And he throws us out the window and have to escape his compound.
I knew there was something off about you. The mask, the way you looked at your so-called prisoner. But it wasn't until you demanded your father's sire as payment that I put it together.
On our way to collect our next melee weapon, we do a quick bounty where we get a trophy for defeating an enemy with his own weapon that we've disarmed him with. And we also get another trophy here for triggering a wolf attack with an empty sake jar. We then arrive at our next destination where we get to meet the Yare Master. He is basically the person that trains us and allows us to collect our next weapon, the Yare Spear.
Thank you.
Advanced techniques.
More than ready.
Good. Your next lesson will be inside the dojo.
After meeting him at his old dojo, we help him fend off a heap of Saito's men and get a trophy called the Way of the Yare. Following the lead of some travelers, we hear that Mad Goro is pretending to be a priest. Once we make it up to the top of the hill where he is, we are ambushed by some of Saito's men, and we get to try out our new heavy attack with the Yare, and we're able to knock an enemy off the cliff and get a trophy, Sayonara. Once we have fought off all the enemies, Goro tells us that there is a way into the Oni's fortress without being spotted. There's a small mine underneath his castle, and that there should be a small boat nearby that we can use to get inside.
Maybe one hiding along the coast nearby.
I only hope the Oni didn't punish the Matsumai prisoners after our previous attempt.
He needs them to rebuild Saito's castle. Over there. We can use that rock to go ashore.
I was a hero on the mainland.
You gutted my father.
He defied Lord Saito.
Then you tried to burn me alive.
Do you think I enjoy setting fire to children? I am a general, a war hero. I should be on a battlefield, not repairing this rotting and molding castle for someone else.
Once inside the castle, we take on our second member of the Yotei 6, the Oni. Now this fight has two phases. The first is fairly simple and isn't really difficult, but the second phase is a lot more challenging as he does very long combos and takes massive damage. After a few attempts, we did take him out and we end up with the trophy, the Oni. We then got a quick few miscellaneous trophies, the horror, and moments of reflection on our way to collect our new melee weapon from Master Yoshida.
You are a force.
The Odachi will help us actually take on the brute enemies in the game, as each weapon in the game is actually more effective against certain enemies depending on their weapon and what type of enemy they actually are. And while finishing this quest line, we received the weapon and the trophy Way of the Odachi.
I'm looking for passage north.
While in the area, we actually complete a series of quests for this character, Huchi, which gives us the trophy, which I'm not even going to try and pronounce, for completing her quest line. While moving into the next area of the game, Toshio Ridge, we're travelling along a snowy path where we come face to face with our next member of the Yotei 6, the Kitsune, and we get our first taste of their hallucination poison that they use. While in Toshio Ridge, we meet this lady Oyuki, who is a very important part of the story, and you'll see why very shortly. We actually help her to follow some of the Ninetales, who are the Kitsune's men, to find out what they're up to and to try and get an edge on the Kitsune. While in one of the fights, I tried to heal and accidentally pushed the wrong button and got a trophy for customizing a scene in photo mode. During the quest, we find this symbol map that shows us how the Kitsune communicates with their men. Clearly, I wouldn't pass this test because I immediately interacted with the statue that blows up. And we also, once we clear this section, find our first of 13 puzzle boxes that we have to search for and solve for another trophy. While heading to our next objective, we get a few miscellaneous trophies, one for learning all the Shimisan songs and one for upgrading 10 of our charms.
We are outnumbered.
Outnumbered.
Finally reaching the quest to our final melee weapon of the game, we meet Master Enomoto, who requests that we help him in fending off some of the Ninetales. Once we do that, we received our weapon from him and do some training. We get our trophy for collecting all melee weapons. Shortly after, we get a few quick trophies, one for using our new weapon to get a ranged kill, one for completing the quest line, and one for completing a separate quest line and receiving the throwable item, the kunai. We then, for about 5 minutes, decide to meditate because I thought it would get us something, but it was honestly a complete waste of time.
Then I left in search of sake.
And we return to the first area of the game where I had missed sort of a mini game in which if we shoot all of our arrows through each of the hoops without missing, we get a trophy called a moment to breathe. After meeting back up with Oyuki, we find a small safe box where we learn that the Kitsune uses a strong poison that sort of makes you hallucinate, and that he has a harvesting site that we end up investigating. Once we make it through the harvesting site, we end up re-encountering the Kitsune, and while fighting, he actually says some very interesting things that stick to our mind.
You don't even know who you're fighting. Anyone can wear a mask. Did you think I was the first Kitsune?
I think you're a liar and a coward.
Such spirits. If only you knew the truth.
He then poisons us and escapes. While we were escaping ourselves, the lines keep repeating in our heads, and Oyuki seems to almost form into the Kitsune. We get a bit of a flashback to the night of when our mother dies, and we see exactly what happens to her, but also that the Kitsune lets us go in the moment, and we notice that they have a female voice. Little did we know that Oyuki was actually the original Kitsune that was at our house the night our parents were killed, and she was the one who let us escape.
You are the Kitsune.
Not anymore.
After waking up, we face off against her to take our revenge, not before she gives us a little tale on how she became the Kitsune and how she left the Yotei 6 and turned on Lord Saito. She then convinces us to let her help us learn how to fight off the effects of the Kitsune poison when we fight him again. After completing the fight, which was very cool actually, switching between a nice snowy area with yellow leaves to a dark fiery setting and a heartfelt forgiveness, we get our trophy, the woman behind the mask. On our way to find and fight the Kitsune, we get a quick trophy for spearing 5 fish with our Yari and finally making it to the Kitsune to resume our fight.
You know the truth, and still you stand by her.
We have a common enemy.
Lord Saito.
This fight wasn't overly difficult, apart from the clouds of smoke that he consistently throwed on the ground, making it very difficult to see him.
He's running. We'll find him. Come on.
Once his first phase is complete, we start the second phase where we get to show off our new skills to fight his poison and continue the fight. This stage was much easier as we got a lot of help from Oyuki to finish the fight, and after the short cutscene we get our trophy, the Kitsune. Next we make our way up to Saito's fortress where we take out a few enemies and climb up some cliffs, which I thought I would add here, it's the only letdown of the game. I mean, it's not a climbing game, but it is kind of clunky and can be very slow. After that, we take out a few more enemies and we come face to face with Lord Saito himself after 16 years. After trying to assassinate him, he very quickly notices who we are and is surprised that we somehow survived the attack. After this little cutscene, we have a quick little fight, not before the Matsumai interrupt and he escapes his compound.
You came home.
We return home to find Jubei has actually come back to see his parents for the first time and gives us a little flashback on how we thought our brother dies that night. He then gets to meet Oyuki for the first time and he is not very happy to learn who she actually is.
You knew me as the Kitsune.
We then make our way to Oshima Coast and we begin the final chapter and the final area of the game that we can explore. We learn that the dragon and the spider, the 4th and 5th members of the Yotei 6, are actually behind all the destruction and death in the next area. We eventually meet back up with Jubei and ride on to find that Saito's men led by the spider were rushing the beach with boats and many firearms.
Clan Matsumai will not accept defeat so easily.
We ride along down to the beach, taking out as many enemies as we could along the way. We are quickly stopped by a group of Saito's men that have taken hostages. Juba then instructs us to jump up on the bridge and take the rifle that's near us to distract and take out as many as we can, so he has the chance to get in there and free the hostages. As soon as we pick up the rifle, we get the trophy for collecting all the ranged weapons, Take Aim. We take out all of the guards and we meet our next very important character, Kiku, who turns out to be Jubei's daughter and our niece.
Amatsu.
Before continuing on, we quickly return to our home to upgrade our katana for the final time to get the trophy like father, like daughter. We then find ourselves in a little cabin where this character who sells firearms asks us to give him a little bit of help, and in exchange for completing his quest, rewards us with the flintlock pistol and our final quickfire weapon for the trophy quick draw. While on the way up one of these shrines that we have to explore, we come across a sword which, if you have played Ghost of Tsushima, you should recognize this. Once we pick it up, we get flashbanged by a gang of Ninetales. They actually steal the sword off us, and we have to find him, chase him down, and have a little bit of a duel to get it back. Once defeated, plays a little bit of a cutscene, and we receive the trophy from one ghost to another. We then get 2 quick back-to-back trophies, one for completing a standoff by using our pistol, and one for collecting all the armor, which this one is actually locked behind finding all the hot springs across the map.
And who are you supposed to be?
Continuing on with the story, we make it to the spider where we unlock a new technique called Ghost Dance. It's very overpowered by doing massive damage and basically makes the enemy too scared to attack us. Once we defeat the spider, instead of killing him, we decide to take him prisoner to use him as bait to lure out his brother and his father, Lord Saito. Completing this gives us the trophy Wrath of the Onryo. We then clear out our final Yotei 6 camp for the trophy for the living. Making our way back to Castle Matsumaya, we tie the spider up to a post along the beach to draw the dragon and Saito in and begin our fight with the dragon. Now, this fight was more annoying than difficult as the spider was on the sidelines firing a rifle at us while the dragon was using a pistol to shoot very quick and hard to dodge shots at us at short range. After completing the fight, we get our trophy, the dragon, and we get a little bit of a cutscene of Saito telling the spider to bury his brother and basically that he doesn't care if he dies either.
Then drink yourself to death for all I care.
We return to Hanbai, who informs us of where we should go to find the Saito family graveyard, where we would most likely find the spider.
Come to cross another name off your list?
Once we're there, we confront the spider and take on the 5th member of the Yotei 6. Although, after the fight's finished, we actually feel a little sorry for him and end up sparing him. In return, he gives us information on where Saito is holding our brother and Oyuki.
I'll take you to them.
Once we watch a bit of a cutscene, we get our trophy, the spider. We then make our way up to Saito's castle, where we take out a handful of guards and find Jubei, who's been taken up to get lined up for execution. Once we free him, we then go and free Oyuki, who tells us that Lord Saito has actually returned to our home where our niece Kiku is hiding, and we have to quickly rush back there to save her and fight Saito.
My fight is with the ghost. If the rest of you leave, you can take the child.
Do as he says.
Your father betrayed me. Creatures such as you and I cannot resist the call of revenge.
I found something new to live for.
And then begins the final fight with the Yotei 6 against Lord Saito. Now, one thing I do recommend before you do this fight is definitely camp to restore your health and spirit and craft all the throwables that you possibly can, as this fight really sort of depends on you keeping as much health as you can. In his second phase, he instantly disarms us, and Jubei comes running back and jumps in to help us with the fight.
Your loyalty to each other.
About 30 seconds into the fight where Jubei's helping us out, we get a little bit of a cutscene, and Jubei takes a sword straight to the gut. This obviously makes Atsu very angry and takes us into the third phase of this fight. This section is much more difficult as you start the fight with very little spirit that you may have lost in the first phase, and you can die very, very easily. But after a few attempts, we took him down and we got our revenge on the Yotei 6.
You are alone. Come, little wolf.
Atsu. She'll never be alone. Kiku's becoming quite the musician. He'd be so proud.
6 months later, we see that Atsu, Kiku, and Oyuki are back at our old family home, paying their respects to our brother. And the final story trophy, the Onryo Rest, pops, and we begin our final quest to find all of the collectibles and all of the remaining trophies. We get one for collecting all gifts for the Onryo, completing all wolf dens, completing all bamboo strikes, shrines, and hot springs, one for completing all 31 bounties, one for completing all 13 puzzle boxes, one for completing all fox dens, one for completing all paintings, one for completing all mountain puzzles, and our final miscellaneous for bowing at 10 special places around Ezo.
You've made your mark on this island.
Now for the final trophy of the game, and one of the hardest fights in the game without a question. I definitely recommend doing this at the very end of your playthrough, once you've completed everything and collected everything and upgraded all your weapons. This fight is truly insane. Takezo the Unrivaled took me about 2 hours to finally beat for a few reasons. One, he has an insane amount of health and takes ages to break his stance and stagger him. He can block or dodge most of your quickfire items if you've used them on him already once. But most of all, he does an insane amount of damage and he can kill you from full health and full spirit, including the extra one that you can get from eating at your camp, in about 4 attacks. Also, the longer you get into the fight, you start to take freezing damage, which means he can basically one-shot you from any health range. I will show you my final attempt of the fight. Hopefully, if you haven't done this yet and you are stuck, this may help you get through the fight, as it is very technical and as soon as you make one mistake, you're basically finished.
Make this duel unforgettable. Do not disappoint me. Give me a fitting end. Finally, I am Takezo the Unrivaled no more.
You fought well.
I did, didn't I? Look at that view. This is a good death. You're the Unrivaled now, Atsu. May that title suit you better than it did me.
Finally, after we defeat him and the final cutscene plays, we get our trophy Unrivaled, and we get the Platinum Trophy for Ghost of Yotei Legendary Onryo. And that's going to do it for the Ghost of Yotei. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like and a comment of your favorite part of the game, or if you did or didn't like it. If you haven't already, subscribe. And the next game I will be playing is Expedition 33, which I've been wanting to play for a very, very long time. Anyway, guys, thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.